Today, we dive into the exciting world of seagrasses. We'll explore their way of life, their challenges, and how they thrive so extensively in such a large ocean. Seagrasses are a very important part of our ecosystem and benefit many other species, including our own. So follow along. Here we go.
The ability for seagrass to thrive in environments that other plants cannot is a great feat that has resulted in seagrasses to be able to have their own environments, not constricted from other kinds of plants. Their ability to do this is credited to their tolerability of the salt in the water. Seagrasses evolved from land plants, even though no land plants can even tolerate slightest amounts of salinity. Seagrasses can tolerate anywhere from 4 to 65 ppt, or parts per thousand, which is 2 times the concentration of seawater. They grow best in salinities of 35 ppt. Not all plants can tolerate salinity equally well, and salinity tolerance may be a factor promoting different species along different salinity gradients, for example, going up estuaries. Some seagrasses can tolerate a range of conditions such as freshwater, estuarine, marine, and hypersaline. A limiting factor for intertidal seagrasses is osmotic issues resulting from hypersalinity due to evaporation.
Eelgrass is one of the few marine plants that live fully submerged. There are many challenges that the plant has to face while living underwater. They must deal with a high salinity level, wave turbulence, and obtaining sunlight, as well as staying anchored in the sediment and not being pulled away by the currents. Living in the ocean can be pretty tough for a plant.
Go ahead.
Oxygen and sediments. The oxygen sediments sort of go hand in hand with dissolved gases and nutrients from what I discussed before. Oxygen availability is solely dependent on the type of sediment that the seagrass is located in. The sediment may have a great binding capacity, which in turn will decrease the total amount of dissolved oxygen in the water.
Being a plant in a fish's world isn't exactly easy. Seagrass and eelgrass face many challenges every day. Large beds of seagrass exist from Canada to Florida on the east coast and Alaska to Mexico on the west coast. The Gulf of Mexico is also home to abundant seagrass beds. In fact, seagrass beds are thriving all around the world. As you can see, seagrass thrives in the eastern hemisphere too. In the eastern hemisphere, large marine mammals called dugongs feed on seagrass beds. In such a big ocean, how are seagrasses thriving? As well as other factors, a main contributor to their success is their ability to anchor and hold fast to the ocean floor. Unlike algae, seagrasses are plants. They have a root and rhizome structure that holds them secure to the bottom. Seagrasses anchor themselves to soft bottoms made of loose sediments, such as mud or fine sand. They thrive in sheltered coves where wave energy is not as strong. You may ask, how do they grow in high-impact environments? Well, it's simple. If the wave energy is too strong, sediments can't settle. And if sediments can't settle, seagrasses just can't grow.
Obtaining energy. Seagrasses are photosynthetic and autotrophic. Slight increases in the levels of nutrients in the water can increase their rate of growth, but excess nutrients favor the growth of epiphytes, which decrease the amount of light availability for photosynthesis and hence decrease the growth rate of the plant. To grow, seagrasses need nutrients often obtained from nearby mangroves and good light, which means clear water.
Nutrients and dissolved gases. Seagrasses live in an environment where nutrient availability is limited and sometimes scarce. Seagrasses need 2 key elements of nutrients to grow and develop, nitrogen and phosphorus. But these nutrients can be limited by several factors. One factor that can limit the amount of nutrients and dissolved gases in the air is bioavailability. The bioavailability of nutrients is dependent on particle size and shape. Different types of sediment will limit different types of nutrients. For example, clay has a great absorbing capacity, so the more clay in the sediment, the greater the absorbing capacity. The calcium carbonate in the clay binds phosphorus, allowing less of it to enter the plant. Plus, the exchange of gases from water to the plant is totally dependent on the whim of the currents.
Eelgrass can reproduce asexually and sexually. To sexually reproduce, eelgrass has flowers. These flowers are tiny and inconspicuous, with both female and male parts on the same spike. Pollen is spread either on or under the water surface by currents. After fertilization, the seed develops within a capsule, which eventually ruptures and releases the seed. After being dispersed by waves and currents, the seed sinks to the bottom and germinates. Eelgrass can also reproduce asexually. The plants have underground horizontal stems called rhizomes that spread and produce shoots. The peak reproductive months are from May through August, although flowering plants can be found all year round. A study in 1995 showed that there is a strongly female-biased sex ratio in flowering shoots across the entire depth of a surfgrass bed.
Another challenge to seagrasses' existence is us pesky humans. We have a bad habit of destroying them. Whether it's for our industry or just plain fun, we impact seagrasses in big ways. Many people don't consider this. Watch as an anchor from a ship destroys a bed of seagrass off the coast of Formentera, Spain. We also destroy them with our fishing nets. Nets that drag across the bottom of the ocean not only catch fish, they devastate the ecosystem. Seagrass beds are commonly ripped up by fishing nets from trawlers. Boat propellers also do quite a job on seagrass beds. So there you have it, seagrass and its biology. As you can see, seagrass plays a major role in our world. Just think, what would we do without it?